good start to get the crowd into the game. You'll keep your energy up, your spirits up, and then you know you're going to be in for a fight for 48 minutes. Secondly, you got to do a better job getting back in transition. Draymond Green, to me, was the story of Game 3 with his relentless push up the floor, makes or misses. Portland was getting beat back defensively. It was creating a lot of problems for them, an easy offense for the Warriors. So get back, cut that off. And then finally, Damian Lillard, he might be dealing with a rib injury. He just has to be better. He needs to be the best player on the floor in Game 4 for the Portland Trail Blazers to get a win and take this thing back to Oracle.
We'll see what happens tonight at 9 Eastern. Warriors looking for that sweep. Game 4, you'll see it with our coverage that tips at 8 Eastern and NBA Countdown on ESPN. And as always, you can take it with you because it's streaming on the ESPN app.
At the headlines today, a house divided. Magic Johnson explaining his abrupt resignation as president of basketball operations for the Lakers with an absolutely blistering takedown of a dysfunctional front office. And we thought the penultimate episode of Game of Thrones was bad.
Magic decided that he was going to liberate the Lakers front office, which if you watched last night, you know that means burn them to a crisp.
The straw that broke the camel's back was I wanted to fire Luke Walton. And we had max 3 meetings. I showed her the things he did well and the things he didn't do well. And I said, listen, we got to get a better coach. I like him. He's great. Former Laker, the whole thing. So the first day, well, let's think about it. Second day, okay, you can fire him. Then the next day, no, we should try to work it out. So when we went back and forth like that, and then she brought Tim Harrison to the meeting, you know, some of the guys. And Tim, you know, wanted to keep him because he was friends with Luke. And Luke's a great guy, great guy.
He is.
And so when I looked up and said, wait a minute, I only really answer to Jeannie Buss. Now I got Tim involved. And I said, it's time for me to go.
Joining us now, former NBA head coach Tom Thibodeau. Tibbs, how coincidental that on the same day that Magic goes on First Take and essentially lambasts the organization, the Lakers will introduce their brand new head coach, Frank Vogel, at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you're Vogel, based on what you just heard and Magic kind of telling everyone what this organization currently looks like and its pitfalls, how are you approaching your new job?
Yeah, I think there's strengths and weaknesses to all organizations. I don't think Frank is going into this thing blindly. It's still the Lakers, and they have LeBron. They have a great tradition. So it's something you could build on. And there'll be challenges, just like there are in any job. But it's, obviously they have 16 championships, and they have 16 for a reason. They've always been able to attract great players there.
You mentioned LeBron James. That's probably one of the greatest players they've attracted over the last few years or so. If you're Frank Vogel, how are you approaching coaching him? What's something that he needs to keep in mind?
Well, I think, Magic pointed out some of the things. You got to get everyone onto the same page. That's the start. And it starts with ownership and then management. Then, of course, Frank, and, of course, then LeBron. And LeBron will help sell it to everyone. And so you got to make sure you're on the same page. You got to sell them the plan. And then you got to get going with your plan.
Tibbs, if you are Frank Vogel and you have listened to what Magic said and you've seen that essentially there seems to be a bit of a power struggle, if you're Vogel, is that something that you address with the team before you take this job, or is it something that you now address based on the fact that it's become very public?
Yeah, well, I think Frank had a good understanding going in. And I think the biggest thing, it's leadership. When you have strong leadership, you have order. So I think you have to start there. When you don't have strong leadership, you have chaos. But as I said, there's a lot to build. When you have LeBron James, you're in a great position. And I think when you look back on the season, Magic did a lot of good things there as well. I believe they were 20-14 when LeBron got hurt, and they were sitting in the 4th position. And if he doesn't get hurt, it's an entirely different season, and we're probably not talking about Magic leaving.
You've got some of the biggest names in free agency. It's certainly quite a bit for them to figure out and for Frank Vogel to figure out as well. Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau joining us here on SportsCenter this afternoon. Thanks, Tibbs.
Thanks, Al.
And coming up, Adam Schefter joins us in studio. Where negotiations stand now? Just this morning in a First Take exclusive, among the revelations, Magic said general manager Rob Pelinka spread the notion that he wasn't in the office enough. And here's more from Magic on why he didn't give LeBron James a head up that he was stepping down as president of basketball operations.
I love LeBron. I love his family, what he's done for the Laker organization, what he did for me as the president of the Laker organization. But sometimes as a man, you have to make decisions based on your well-being, right? And I made that decision based on me and my own happiness. And so I could have done it a different way. Yes, he's right. But I did it my way. And that doesn't take anything away from our relationship or how I feel about LeBron. But sometimes as a man or a woman, you got to make decisions based on your own happiness. And sometimes you just got to go out and do your thing. And that's what I did.
But Magic, he was talking about the way you did it. Do you have any regrets about the way you did it?
No. I'm not a regretful guy.
If you could do it again, would you have done it any differently?
Max, I'm not a regretful person. I stick to my guns. Listen, this was not, I just woke up and said, oh, I'm going to leave the Lakers.
And that just a portion of a very lengthy interview this morning, as we're joined now by Lakers reporter Dave McMenamin on a day, Dave, that the Lakers are scheduled to introduce their new head coach, Frank Vogel. Clearly, this overshadows that and steals that thunder. What's the early reaction to Magic's comments there in L.A.?
Well, Hannah, bright and early this morning, I was in contact with a source within LeBron James's camp, and I asked him what he thought of Magic's statements today. And he said, I thought he did well. And you can make of that what you will. Clearly, Magic had a lot of good things to say about LeBron personally, and he says he still thinks he can win a championship in L.A. with the Lakers. He said that they should be targeting Kawhi Leonard and Kyrie Irving to come in and pair with LeBron. And he spoke about the way LeBron has really had a positive impact on the young talent they have here. So there were good things that Magic said, and perhaps, let bygones be bygones. LeBron was taken aback in the moment by the way Magic left the organization, but now that some time has passed, it seems to be that those two camps are on the same page.
Well, we heard so much, though, about the Lakers front office not being on the same page, and the picture that Magic Johnson painted was one of clear dysfunction within the organization. You're talking about looking to lure free agents there and the like. I mean, what rang true and what didn't from what you've observed from the front office?
Well, certainly it was powerful to hear Magic Johnson use the word betrayal to describe the dysfunction and the relationship between him and GM Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka is going to be speaking this afternoon at the Frank Vogel press conference and is going to be asked directly by myself and or others about those comments from Magic and have some explaining about what went wrong in that relationship. Beyond that, though, I think things that rang true was that, you heard that they have a clear desire still to get Anthony Davis, whether that be through a trade this summer or next year as a free agent. That's still a priority for this franchise. But also interesting to hear Magic Johnson really take Dell Demps, call him out and say that he was a source of a lot of the information getting out there in their trade talks. I've reported on this story and I've spoken to others who have reported on this story. I don't think Dell Demps was the only one talking when it came to that information getting out about the Lakers and Pelicans failed trade.
Also, very interesting that Magic Johnson said he would buy the Lakers. Dave McMenamin, we appreciate it. As always, busy day for you. Vogel presser coming up, so we'll have the latest on what that coach has to say walking into quite the situation.
What a day, what a day. How about top plays? Number 10, international cricket, Pakistan and England. That's Safaraz Ahmed with the hit, and England's wicketkeeper